Hi, this is Gary. In this tutorial I'm going to walk through some tips to improve your odds in Spider Solitaire. Now Spider Solitaire on difficult is actually pretty difficult. I think my win rate is like cumulative is like 11%. If I'm doing good it'd probably be 15 to 20% range. So we're going to go ahead and start on that here. Now if you see the board here, one of the things I like to do early on is try to keep the like cards with each other if I can. Like spades with spades, clubs with clubs, diamonds with diamonds, hearts with hearts, and so forth. Another thing I want to do early on, if I can, is try to empty one or two of the piles so I have more space to work later on. And we're going to advance to move 37 here. And we're moving on, move 38. Now I'm kind of stuck where I can't get out, so if you see the king on the top right hand corner there, basically the king on the top right hand corner means I'm stuck, and I don't like being stuck, so I'm going to try to figure out a way to get out of that. I'm just going to end up putting the queen over there. Now I'm going to walk through some quick feature moves that I like to use here. The first one is Control Z, and that's basically to undo your last move or moves. What I like about that is you can try multiple ways of solving something, kind of like a puzzle, and if one doesn't work then you try another variant or possibly a third variant, and then you can just use Control Z to undo your last move. And Control Z will only not work if you emptied a pile. Let's say you got a full thing of hearts or spades, diamonds, or clubs. The other move I like to use is the M button, and that will show the next available move. Sometimes you're in a hurry and you just like to make a bunch of quick moves, and then when you get to a certain part then you'll start thinking it through. The M button shows the next available move, and if you don't like the first one they'll show the next one or the next one, and so forth. It kind of goes from left to right on the screen. Moving on, if you'll see, I've drawn an arrow to the right on the 5 pile. Now what I'm trying to do is get out, not get buried here, and if I have any garbage or like 4-3-2-1, 4-3-2-A stuff, I'm going to put it underneath the 5 pile, or underneath that 5 there. And what I want to try to do is have like 1 or 2 piles, what I call my junk piles or garbage piles, and then try to free up space to have the other piles where I can move stuff around and try to eventually figure out a way to win this game here. Now we're moving on to move number 78 here. As you can see, I'm going to walk through the substitution portion. If you'll take a look at the brief board, try to figure out if you can empty one of these piles or how you go about doing that. Okay, it may or may not look obvious here, but I'm going to show a principle I call substitution here, and how I can empty up one of those piles. It's going to be the 3rd pile on the right, the 5 of hearts pile. I like to empty that one if I can and see what's underneath that card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 3 of spades and that pile, move it into the green, which I do. And then I'm going to take the 4 of hearts, but not the 5 of hearts, and I'm going to move the 4 of hearts underneath the 5 of spades there, and then I'm going to take a 3 of spades pile and move it under the 4 of hearts, and then I can move the 5 of hearts over there. And now substitution is a very important part of improving your odds. If you can look for areas or look at the board and figure out ways to use the substitution principle, you'll dramatically improve your odds there. As we move on here, one option is I can use this 5 for storage, but if you'll notice the jack of spades, the second to the right on the top, is one underneath the queen of spades, and they're basically trading off piles there. So instead of doing that, another option is just put the jack underneath the queen. So I'll move these pieces around and get the jack underneath the queen here. We'll fast forward to that. Now if you'll notice, I've got 2 free spaces to work with, and then I'm going to try to look at each pile individually and figure out if I can which pieces work. If they don't work, I'll try the next one, because I'll just use Control Z, edit, undo. Okay, as we move on here, now take a look at the board real quick, and you'll notice that I want to move the 5 of hearts underneath the 6 of diamonds, but I can't move that pile because I got clubs and hearts. But there is a way to do it, and we use the principle again called substitution, and I've got to make a lot of different moves. I'll do this in slow motion here. Got the 2 of hearts moving, then I'm going to take the 3 of clubs, there we go, under the 4 diamonds, then I move the 2 of hearts, then I'm going to move the 4 of clubs, then I move the 4 of hearts underneath the 5 of hearts, then I move the 5 of hearts underneath the 6 of diamonds, then I move the 2 of hearts, then I move the 3 of clubs, then I move the 4 of clubs, then I move the 2 of hearts pile. So a bunch of movement there, but that's essentially how the substitution principle works. Once you understand that, you'll dramatically improve your odds. Another thing you want to try to do when you get later on is you want to try to consolidate similar piles. Now if you look at the board here, you'll notice the diamonds, and I'm going to highlight that in just a second here. What I like to do is have the 9 of diamonds go all the way down to the 2 of diamonds, so I'm going to move these piles around, and I've got enough space to work to do that, so I move the piles around, and then I got that consolidated. Now here's another tip. I don't have a specific example in this case, but I'm going to walk through what I mean, and what I mean is that I prefer to finish piles where the king is on the bottom. Let's say I have the king of spades there. If you notice, there's enough spades to finish the pile. Now if I had another king of spades that was, let's say, in the green spot, like on the left, the top left hand corner there, what you prefer to do, all else being equal, is basically finish off the pile in the open space. And the reason you're doing that is you want to give yourself more space to work afterwards. And also keep in mind that the Control Z or the edit undo function to undo your last moves won't work if you finished off a pile. So I'm going to go finish off this spade pile here where the king is, and I've highlighted that. Here it goes. And just pretty much you kind of work and do more consolidation. Well, this is later on in the game. I'm moved 307, so quite a few moves here. Now, as I've said before, one of the keys to giving yourself a chance to win is you have to allow yourself space for your next turn. You want to try not to trap yourself if possible, because when you, if you look at the bottom right-hand corner, when you hit the draw button, you have no idea exactly how those cards are going to turn out. Worst case scenario, you could have a few, your 1 or 2 spots that are open to work, and then they'll stick a king of something on top of it, and it makes it just kind of traps yourself. You want to try to avoid that if possible. So I've taken the 2 of spades and I'll put it right there, and then if you'll notice, I see a way to consolidate, so I take the 4 of spades, put it under the 5 of spades, and we move that there. So now I've gotten out at 2 piles. Now I got to figure out how to maneuver here. There's the cards are dealt now, and I just kind of work my way through here. So now I've got actually 4 piles down. I'm actually in really good shape. With one move to go, normally this isn't the case. But just to reiterate, you want to try to minimize the risk of getting buried for your next row, and try to have, if you can't solve everything, or once you're out of space to solve everything, what you want to try to do is you want to spread out each one of the cards to where they're only one deep. When I say 1 deep, I mean they're only 1 deep of the. It only takes 1 move to move it. I mean, you could have like 3 or 4 or 10 cards on this example here, but it only takes 1 move to move it because they're all the same card. So if they're different cards, you only want to have it 1 deep of the different cards. And then I go ahead and deal that out. I'm on my last turn here. My odds are pretty good. I get it solved, and that is game over. To reiterate, the 2 most important tips, I think, in my opinion, are try to consolidate, or 3 most important tips. Try to consolidate. Try to allow yourself space to move. You want to give yourself space to work piles out and stuff. And then always consider the edit undo or the Control Z button. You can do quite a few moves, but after you have emptied off one of the piles or completed one of the piles, you can't use Control and Z, so keep that in mind. And I believe that's about it. And just remember to substitute and so forth. Thank you for watching.